Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us for the latest on News 2. I'm Sandra Mansing. In our top story, lawmakers stayed in chambers until late at night on Tuesday to get updates on Juan Louis Hospital and the many changes made in leadership, not just in the past few months, but most notably in the past few weeks. They tackled everything from broken finances to broken morale. News 2's April Knight has more.
The Senate hearing that happened Tuesday night that was meant to clear some of the confusion about what's happening at Juan Louis Hospital brought more questions than answers about Ken Acolo's contract, current leadership at the hospital, and employee morale.
This in no way is just a crucifixion and trying to tear down anybody.
The hospital's financial crisis is at the forefront, including $65 million in accounts payable. But right now, even that is overshadowed by the hospital's controversial decisions on current leadership. Hospital counsel Richard Evangelista is now acting CEO after the recent demotion and subsequent firing of former CEO candidate Ken Acolo.
We will never see permanent growth at the hospital as long as we continue to change the players.
The instability is taking a toll on employees, some of whom have reached out to a psychiatrist for support.
The common themes expressed were, among others, frustration, uncertainty relative to the hospital's stability, job retention concerns, mistrust, detachment of management and board relative to the line employees.
The hospital also came under fire for approving bonuses to higher management while not being able to pay its bills.
You have money for bonuses for upper management, but what about for your bills?
The Senate's Health and Hospitals Committee Chair Kurt Viale made his first recommendation based on that practice.
If you can't provide for the masses, don't provide for those who are already making way more than the masses. It is just not wise business sense, and it doesn't lead to good morale.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
We will have more on that hearing in a later newscast. The Senate Committee of the Whole began a late session in the Earl B. Otley legislative building today, Wednesday. They were scheduled to begin at 6 in the evening, and on the agenda is Bill number 31-0332. It's an act granting exclusive franchise to transportation services of St. John and Varlach Ventures to operate all public marine transportation between the Red Hook Terminal on St. Thomas and the Cruise Bay Dock on St. Croix. Among the testifiers were Commissioner Gustav James of Public Works, Port Authority Director Carlton Dow, Public Services Commission Executive Director Donald Cole, Attorney Maria Hodge, representing Varlach Ventures, and Malcolm Cohen, technical consultant for Varlach Ventures. We will have details on that session in a later newscast. Marvin Pickering, who's the director of the Virgin Islands Bureau of Internal Revenue, informs excise taxpayers that the increases to the excise tax rates for cigarettes, cigars, and other tobacco products will go into effect on June 1st, 2016. In accordance with Act number 7839, the excise tax rate on cigarettes has increased to 45%. In addition, in accordance with Act number 7852, the excise tax on cigars and other tobacco products, not including cigarettes, has increased to 25%. The Bureau's excise tax system and the appropriate online tax forms have been revised to reflect the change commencing on the implementation date of June 1st, 2016. Students at St. Croix Central High School were dismissed at 1 p.m. today due to a blown transformer. St. Croix Superintendent of Schools, Colleen Williams, alerted parents that all students will be dismissed because of a blown transformer that was affecting electricity to a major portion of the school. School buses picked up students. Parents were asked to pick up students as well. School is expected to be in full session tomorrow, Thursday. The St. Croix Chamber of Commerce reps on Monday met with WAPA officials to express dismay at the utility's announcement that it will petition the PSC for a base rate increase effective July 1st. At the meeting was WAPA's Interim Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer Julia Reimer, WAPA Board Chairman Attorney Gerald Broner, Senate President Neville James, and Senator Samuel Sanez. The chamber sought to better understand the government's debt to the utility and the impact of losing its credit rating while maintaining the focus on the concerns of residents and businesses over the proposed increase. Meanwhile, as we mentioned, Senator Kenneth Gittens wants an emergency fact-finding hearing at the Senate to discuss residents' concerns over the WAPA board's recent vote to raise the base rate electricity charge. Here's more.
I know the ratepayers are looking forward to the completion and implementation of the propane conversion project, coupled with more reduced energy rates across the board. We've seen a number of delays with the implementation of that project as we wait to actually realize a reduction in monthly bills, and it is time for us to get some answers.
Well, yesterday we reported on the VIPD's Office of Highway Safety reaching out to the motoring public to educate them on traffic violations. Now, federal officials were also at the site, and they're still going around the island doing their own assessment of the territory's thoroughfares. News 2's April Knight has more.
Federal highway safety officials are in St. Thomas and St. John all week, evaluating the territory's roadways.
They're here to understand exactly how we operate, what our successes are, what our hardships are, not because it works in the 50 continental United States or other territories as close as Puerto Rico mean that it may work for us.
Roads in the Virgin Islands are starkly different from those in the mainland, they say, and the fact that we drive on the left side of the road is just the beginning.
As it pertains to safety and security, it does not appear to oppose any challenge. It just requires a considerable amount of adjustment.
They said they're also struck by how narrow the roads are. And what do you get when you put together narrow roads and large vehicles? Potential trouble, according to these highway safety officials, especially in an island economy that normally ships in its supplies. That means more containers and trailers being hauled through the roadways.
When I think about the infrastructure here, the narrow roads, and then I think about the level and degree of traffic that trucks and buses are introducing to this roadway, to me, there are a number of safety concerns that I can envision.
That's why this team of motor carrier safety inspectors are keeping an eye out, conducting 18-point inspections on trailer trucks. The officers also make sure that the loads are properly secured so that the trucks don't cause problems to other vehicles as they navigate narrow, steep, winding roads. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The federal officials from the U.S. Department of Transportation will only be here until the end of the week. But remember, our VI motor carrier safety inspectors are out there regularly, so make sure your vehicle is in top condition. Well, it's time for our Crime Stoppers report. Police say on Friday, March 3rd, 2016, at approximately 7:45 p.m., Mr. Darian Griffin, also known as Goffa, was gunned down in front of his residence located at number 66 Castle Coakley Christiansted. Here's more on how you can help and earn a reward in the process.
Mr. Griffin was called out of his home and then murdered. A male individual approximately 5 feet 8 inches in height, slim build, medium complexion with short locks, seen leaving the area of the crime. Detective believes that the members of this community may have critical information that will further this investigation. The Virgin Islands Police Department requests the help of the public to bring the perpetrator of this crime to justice. If you have any information on this incident, please call Crime Stoppers VI at 1-800-222-TIPS or www.crimestoppersvi.org.
In other news, it's not that one good news that they've been waiting for, but it's definitely a step forward for advocates of equal citizenship rights for U.S. territories. On Monday, prominent Supreme Court attorney Theodore B. Olson filed a reply brief before the Supreme Court in Tua versus United States, a case addressing birthright citizenship and whether the insular cases should still be used in defining or denying U.S. citizenship. Now the Supreme Court is reviewing whether or not it will take on the case. The Supreme Court is expected to decide whether to grant the petition for certiorari or by end of June. Seeking review before the court are a group of passport-holding Americans born in American Samoa who are denied recognition as U.S. citizens by federal statute. The outcome could have repercussions on other territories as well. We'll turn our attention overseas. We're heading into the busy summer travel season, and airport security lines are only getting longer. The TSA has come under fire for delays, but they say they're working on ways to speed up the lines. This as the TSA administrator testifies on Capitol Hill. Mary Maloney has the details on plans officials hope will ease travel stress.
So we have a challenge this summer, which we are aggressively meeting head on.
The Transportation Security Administration's Peter Neffinger appeared on Capitol Hill Wednesday, testifying before the House Homeland Security Committee. He addressed plans to deal with challenges the TSA has faced and ways to streamline screening procedures for travelers.
We have established a National Incident Command Center to specifically monitor checkpoint screening operations on an hourly basis. We are tracking projected volume, staffing, and lane availability, actual wait times, which will allow us to address critical concerns in real time.
Tuesday, the TSA announced revamped passenger screening lines are another part of the plan. The new system is experimental and debuted in Atlanta, the world's busiest airport. It automatically reroutes bins with suspicious bags to a separate conveyor belt, which should help keep lines moving. Lanes also have a separate area for passengers to remove shoes and belts at their own pace.
I'm optimistic. I'm sure there's definitely going to be changes coming along.
Similar systems are already used in London and Amsterdam. And though they have high hopes the new measures will alleviate security traffic, the TSA says a noticeable difference could take years. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
And keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. Taking a look at the numbers there. We can see everything up. The Dow 145, NASDAQ 33, S&P 500 up 14. Coming up on News 2, and to your health, you think the flu season is the only season we need to be concerned about sniffles and runny nose and all that stuff? Well, summer allergy is coming up. What you need to know. Time for our graduations there. Let's take a look at the Department of Education graduation schedule of some upcoming ceremonies for elementary schools. We've been sharing the different schedules. Tonight, let's look at the 6th graders going into 7th grade. On June 14th, it's Ricardo Richards at 9 a.m. Also on June 14th, Juanita Gardine at 1 p.m. June 15th is the Alexander Henderson School at 9 a.m. June 16th, Lou Muckle at 9. June 16th, it's also Eulalie Rivera and Alfredo Andrews, 1 p.m. June 17th, Pearl B. Lawson at 1. Now, June 20th, it's the Claudio Marco at 1 p.m. June 20th, Janie Twith, 9 a.m. at the Courtyard. June 20th, Joseph Sibley, and now, of course, we're looking at St. Thomas at 9 a.m. at the cafeteria. Now, June 21st, we've got the E. Benjamin Oliver School at 9 a.m. at the amphitheater. June 21st, Gladys Abraham at 9 a.m. in the cafeteria. June 21st, Joseph Gomez at 9 a.m. June 21st, Lockhart School, 1:30 at the cafeteria. June 21st, we have Ulla F. Muller, 9 a.m. at the Adelita Cancran Auditorium. And then June 21st, Yvonne Milanobowski School, 9 a.m. at the school cafeteria. And then finally, June 22nd, Leonard Dober Elementary School, 9 a.m. in the Courtyard. On Monday, Senate President Neville James welcomed senior citizens from St. Croix and St. Thomas and St. John to the annual Senior Citizens Legislative Session, which was held at the Fritz Loetz Legislative Conference Room, St. Croix. The proposed bill, number 31-0600 on the day's agenda, seek to amend the Virgin Islands Code, calling for persons who have durable powers of attorney intend that such powers extend through their period of disability and for a specified period of time or indefinitely until revoked voluntarily or by operation of law. A majority of the senior citizen senators supported the legislation. They called for it to become a regular piece of legislation, which then could become a law. The entire community is invited to attend the 22nd annual Virgin Islands High School Appellate Moot Court competition. That's hosted by the VI Bar Association. It'll be held May 31st Supreme Court of the VI, St. Thomas at 9 a.m. June 1st, District Court of the VI, St. Croix at 9 a.m. Then June 2nd, District Court of the Virgin Islands, St. Croix again at 9 a.m. Now the event is free of charge and open to the public. The listed 6 schools will participate in this year's competition. The competition provides an opportunity for high school juniors and seniors to vie for scholarship prizes by presenting oral arguments in which they analyze relevant legal issues. The STEAM Fair has wrapped up. More than 400 4th through 8th grade students representing public, private, parochial, and homeschoolers in the St. Thomas St. John's district. They showcase their love of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics at the first annual STEAM Hands-On Day. Now, the Hands-On Day was held at UVI on May 19th as part of the district's 2016 STEAM Fair, which was held from May 17th to 20th, and we shared this with you. Fittingly, the theme for this year's STEAM Fair was amalgamating the arts into STEM. Approximately 30 exhibits were displayed on the show floor with projects ranging from an eco-friendly house made from plastic bottles to beautiful artwork made by using gravitational force and a simple medicine dropper. Caribbean Genealogy Library presents on transfer error documents found at the U.S. National Archives. That will be on Saturday, May 28th at 2 p.m. at the Caribbean Genealogy Library. They will be holding this presentation on Virgin Islands transfer error documents held at the U.S. National Archives. The workshop is free and open to the public. In May 2015, CGL digitized 45 gigabytes of document data from the U.S. National Archives in Washington, D.C. and Maryland. CGL now offers samples of these documents on their website. This workshop will assist genealogy and history researchers get an understanding of the locations of Virgin Islands documents within the U.S. The presentation, again, is Saturday, May 28th, 2 p.m. at the Caribbean Genealogy Library. United States Virgin Islands Department of Tourism will produce a customer service morale booster and professionals panel on Thursday, May 26th and Friday, May 27th, featuring leading Virgin Islands professionals from the territory and the U.S. mainland. And that will be held at the Frenchman's Reef and Morningstar Beach Resort in St. Thomas on Thursday, the VI Cardiac Center at Juan Louis Hospital in St. Croix on Friday. The all-day sessions are tailored for the general public, taxi and tour operators, students, as well as managers and supervisors, featuring customer service experts. Into your health, the timing of the flu season is unpredictable. The timing of the flu is unpredictable and can vary in different parts of the country and from season to season. Most seasonal flu activity typically occurs between October and May. But now that the summer months are straight ahead, allergies are the new concern. Here's more. The seasonal flu months are just about over, but now we look forward to summer allergies.
So down here in the Virgin Islands, we have a little bit different sort of allergy scenario than what we deal with in the States.
Summer allergies can cause severe symptoms for some sufferers and can be just as bad as the spring and fall seasons.
In the States, during the cold weather seasons, a lot of the mold issues sort of go away, and they deal with a lot of the cedar and some of those sorts of issues, which we don't deal with down here.
The experts say mold and insect stings are common allergy culprits during the summer months.
Our trees and our pollens and those sorts of things are still around in sort of a low baseline sort of scenario, which is also different than the States because they have seasons where the trees and the plants are pollinating. So we just have that sort of low-lying allergen in the air all the time.
Symptoms aren't always limited to the hallmark sneezing, runny nose, and watery eyes. Black eyes, lines across the nose, and other cosmetic symptoms can occur.
Practicing down here in the Virgin Islands is a little bit different, and we've become very accustomed to treating those sort of issues a little bit differently than sort of everywhere else in the United States.
But fresh produce such as celery, apples, and melons can also cause allergy symptoms. Summer allergy symptoms can easily be mistaken for colds, food intolerances, or other ailments.
Sinusitis and chronic sinusitis disease, which is an acute on chronic sort of scenario. So it's out there, and so if you're suffering with it, please come and see us.
Be sure to call your allergist for more information. Well, John Jackson returned to St. Thomas on Tuesday, May 24th at 3:30 p.m. at the Cyril E. King Airport in St. Thomas. Jackson took the moment to pose with supporters who greeted him with a huge welcome home. As you know, Jackson was just returning from Las Vegas, where he lost the World Boxing Council's super welterweight title bout against Jermell Charlo. After winning 5 of the first 6 rounds on all 3 of the judges' cards, Jackson was knocked out. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.